After going through a bad start to this decade, things will be better for 2021, right? Nope! January 6th can explain to you how this was still a bad year. So let's jump to November of this year, and this was something that everyone in New York City were waiting for. The return of the 2.5-mile route for the Macy's parade, and in person. We were still in the pandemic, so there were some restrictions, mainly wearing masks, especially for all those that were in the parade and behind the scenes. What makes this parade big was it being the 95th anniversary parade. Just 5 more to go till the big 100. This also marks the first parade for their new executive producer, Will Koss, who now joins with head designer Kathleen Wright on creating more new balloons, floats, bands, and performers still to this day. Many new faces for this year, some of which have not performed yet. 27 songs will tell us how good of a year it was going to be. It would have been 28 if Kristen Chenoweth was there, as shown in the opening credits of this broadcast. This is my ranking of the songs of the 95th Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade. Okay, starting up at number 26, I'm just going to show you this because there's not a lot to talk about here.
I don't wanna grow up, 'cause maybe if I did, I couldn't be a Toys R Us kid.
Well, at least Macy saved Toys R Us here in the United States, I will give it that. Our first returnee to the parade at number 25, Wonderful Time by Kelly Rowland. Back for her second and ending the celebrity roster in the parade, Kelly performs her brand new Christmas single of her rendition of It's the Most Wonderful Time of the Year, but just called it Wonderful Time. I will admit, this rendition is not bad, well fast-paced, only 2 minutes and 41 seconds, and the parade did well for the sets of the song. The problem is, we just had this song last year from Patti LaBelle. Granted, Kelly's rendition is better than hers. I just think having this song 2 years in a row was kind of unnecessary. That and this was for one of the Lifetime movies. Ugh! Pre-parade act time at number 24, The Sparkling Diamond by the cast of Broadway's Moulin Rouge the musical. Specifically based on the 2001 Baz Luhrmann film, Moulin Rouge finally came to the stage, eventually on Broadway in July 2019, and eventually sometime after lockdown, the musical won 10 Tonys including Best Musical. With this mashup of many songs in one, the cast does The Sparkling Diamond, which combines the songs from the movie and some new ones, which are Diamonds Are Forever, Diamonds Are a Girl's Best Friend, Material Girl, Single Ladies Put a Ring on It, Brick House, My Lovin' You're Never Gonna Get It, Jungle Boogie, and Diamonds. Now, as of this recording, I am still watching a lot of Oscar movies from the 2000s, and Moulin Rouge is one of them, as it is a Best Picture nominated film. But I have not watched the film yet, because my order is kind of completely random. Don't judge me on that. You can blame that on Xfinity, I would say. The first half started strong from Diamonds Are Forever to Single Ladies. In fact, I want to hear a full version of Single Ladies from this Broadway cast. The men's involvement in the number doesn't stand out as much. In fact, I don't think I heard Jungle Boogie at all. And for the parade, the one who plays Satine was actually the first replacement for the character played by Natalie Mendoza, since the original actress, Karen Olivio, refused to return to the show after it reopened in protest of the producer of the musical, Scott Rudin, for his allegations. I don't blame her, but I would say her vocals are better than Natalie's here, based on the cast recording album. I hear a cruise ship horn, led by Captain Minnie Mouse at number 23, Together We Set Sail by Jordan Fisher. In preparation of the new Disney cruise line, the Disney Wish, some of your favorite Disney characters joined with Jordan Fisher, who had worked with Disney a couple of times, performing the opening ceremony song, Together We Set Sail. This version you hear in the parade came first, and I do think this pop version with a recording artist was a perfect thing, like SeaWorld's one song back in 2013. The main version, not really that good, as it doesn't feel like a Disney Parks and Resorts song, And the one I'm referring to is the one you can find on YouTube. I know the site doesn't count, but you can eventually actually get this song in a shared Google Drive link if you go to that video. The parade just tops it with the lead singer of Ford Town and with Minnie, Mickey, Goofy, and Pluto. At number 22, See Us Coming Together by the cast of Sesame Street. After not performing last year and only 4 of the Muppets just greeting from their homes, the cast of Sesame Street returns with just the Muppets only as they join with some of their new neighbors from their TV special, which is also the title of their EP, with the title song as track number 1, See Us Coming Together. First up, it's odd not to see no humans on this float. It's just interesting when you just see the Muppets get the spotlight, including the 3 new cultured Muppets, just to show how the show has been expanding the Muppet cast, minus HBO all in on Alamo. The song is fine, but at least we got a Sesame Street song to be available digitally. A mix of hip-hop and country at number 21, we got a Little Bit by Nelly. Cornell Hayes Jr. last year released a single called Little Bit, which is his 3rd collaboration with country duo Florida Georgia Line. Now part of his 8th album Heartland as track number 8, although this single was a hit, the album got mixed reviews by critics, and this song is also labeled explicit. Like BB Rexa, Nelly now did have a great pudding on some country aspects to his song, especially with Florida Georgia Line, well, of course, who are not here in the parade, cause having collaborating songs in this roster, it is hard to get both artists together for the parade. I also have many questions for the parade, specifically why we could barely hear the song in the first half, and who was this guy joining with Nelly? Is it a friend of his or someone? A backing vocalist? At least he went down on the slide to have some fun. Country songs about flirting a girl comes in at number 20, I Don't Know About You by Chris Lang, as this country artist performs one of his big hit songs from his 3rd album back in 2018, Laps Around the Sun, track number 4 that got a single release later, I Don't Know About You. It's just about a girl, nothing special. There are a lot of other country songs from this parade that are better than this, although it's not the most annoying, just everything you expect in a country song. Making his 3rd parade, that crazy pop star at number 7, Damn It Feels Good to Be Me by Andy Grammer. Yep, this guy is back with the song, but they censored Damn to Man for the parade, being one of his singles this year, later added to his 6th EP, The Art of Joy, next year, as the final track, number 5. I did jump around to this song 3 years ago, and sometimes I do when I'm in the mood, better than Smoke Clears, and almost on top with Good to Be Alive. What keeps it down is, of course, the parade, because it is re-recorded to avoid saying damn on television, and his voice was so high it feels like it's live, but not. And it wasn't complete because it was going into a commercial. A girl group that's not actually real at number 18, Famous 5 Ever by the cast of Girls 5 Ever. For the new Peacock float, why not get the cast from a musical series to promote the platform? As you take Sarah Bareilles, Renee Elise Goldsberry, Busy Phillips, and Paula Pell, you get Girls 5 Ever. As they performed the unofficial theme song to the show, but more for the group, Famous 5 Ever, which is also track number 1 on the show's soundtrack. As this song is an homage to the 90s, you can definitely feel that girl group style in that decade. There is one issue though, and that's the parade. Now I know Paula Pell is one of the leads of the show, but the song that is recorded in the soundtrack, the singer that plays the younger version of Paula's character, is Erica Hemmingson, and Ashley Park plays the deceased member of the group. So those should have been in performing in the parade with Sarah, Renee, and Busy while Paula's off to the side to make that performance a legit version of the Girls 5 Ever song that you hear on the soundtrack. K-pop time with our first girl group from this genre at number 17, Savage by aespa. Going by their stage names, Karina, Giselle, Winter, and Ning Ning formed themselves as aespa last year. They gained global attention, especially this year, with their debut EP, which is also the title song, track number 2, Savage. A mixture of some Korean and English in the song. I will give it credit for the sets they did for the parade, but not much in the song itself, although it is catchy. And like with NCT 127, the NBC camera crew did not know which members were singing during the parts. What? Here's our celebrity pre-parade act at number 16, Favorite Time of Year by Carrie Underwood. For her third parade and second performance, what many people consider her the best female country artist working today, Carrie Underwood last year released her 7th and first Christmas album, My Gift. This year she added 3 new songs for the special edition of the album. Track number 12 was a new song she wrote called Favorite Time of Year, which started as an Amazon exclusive to now available everywhere. The song is fine, but I will give it credit for 2 things. Although she's not at Herald Square as she's in her home in Nashville, the setting of her performance felt like a music video as this is the full version of the song as this was pre-recorded. And she was actually singing live, which is actually a nice touch for her instead of lip-syncing to it. If I am correct on this, I believe this is our first transgender artist ever perform in the Macy's Parade. At number 15, I Don't Want It All by Kim Petras. Originally from Germany at age 25, she made her international debut in 2017 with her single, I Don't Want It All. What a phenomenal debut by this artist, especially doing that dance pop genre, and a perfect fitting for her to be on the coach float. Nothing else I can say here, unfortunately, just a little long for the song at 4 minutes, and I think that's kind of it. This guy had a big week. At number 14, I Need You by Jon Batiste. From being the leader of the house band of The Late Show with Stephen Colbert, to composing with Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross for Pixar's Soul, which got him an Oscar, and released his 6th album, We Are, and earlier in the week of Thanksgiving this year, he received the most nominations for the 2022 Grammys as Louisiana native Jon Batiste goes out of the float and performs on the streets of Herald Square, track number 4 that was nominated for Best Traditional R&B Performance, I Need You. When was the last time a celeb performed out of the float they were in? I think it was Sherry Lewis back in 1994. Oh, no, wait. NC-17 127 just did that 2 years ago. This was a party here, not just with the theme of the float, but both the song and the performance tells you otherwise. I mean, one of the artists that's kind of doing some moves here with those background dancers, facial expressions, and playing the saxophone, although I know that was a sync fail for that part. Man, 2021 was a big year for Jonathan Batiste. One of the balloons actually got to be connected with one of these songs at number 13, I Want a Hippopotamus for Christmas, Hippo the Hero by Darren Criss. Well known for the hit television series Glee, and on stage, Darren Criss released his first solo album, A Very Darren Christmas, as he plays the kazoo by doing one of the most out there Christmas songs that you don't hear often in the radio in today's standards, that would be track number 2, his rendition of I Want a Hippopotamus for Christmas, Hippo the Hero. Never thought an adult would actually sing this song, but Darren does bring one of the best renditions of this 50s classic, and I love how the Happy the Hippo balloon got to be part of Darren's performance, although the handlers had her a little too high, and I felt the parade wasn't complete, cause like Damn It Feels Good to Be Me, the song was also going into a commercial. Something we haven't had in a while, a song about America at number 12, All American by Mickey Guyton. One of the new artists entering into the mainstream realms of country music, Candace Guyton marks her debut album with Remember Her Name, and does track number 2, All American, and the album was nominated for a Grammy. It's not really about the typical building, fighting, or business of our country like Billy Ray Cyrus said in his song We the People, but more on the calmer side when we do things outside of those, like watching a football game. I do like the main verse, but the parade, Mickey did do a re-recording of this, comparing to the album. You might think it's live because I heard some breathing, but that stereo's not echoing. With Broadway stages reopening, one of the longest running shows does a performance with the current cast members at number 11, One Short Day by the cast of Broadway's Wicked. If you remember, this song was my number 1 pick for 2003. So how does 2021 hold up? Well, comparing to the original cast album is hard to answer, especially with the original stars, as this is still ongoing. I will give it credit that the costumes have improved since then, minus those air balloonies, although it's not as creepy this time. The only issue with this performance, it was kinda fast, when the original performance back in 2003 was smoother. And it is nice to hear the song again, I will give it credit for that. Our youngest artist for this year's parade at number 10, Girls Like Us by Zoe Wees. Just before 20, this young lady from Germany had gotten 3 singles earlier in this year, one of them being Girls Like Us. 8 days after she turned 20, on May 21st of this year, her first EP came out with Golden Wings, and Girls Like Us was added as track number 2. I really do like this song, and her voice is really unique, and the parade did a fine performance that feels like a complete version for the broadcast. I would just change what set of lyrics she would do for the event. The lead singer of Matchbox 20 has a solo career when he's not with his band at number 9, Small Town Christmas by Rob Thomas. With his 5th and first Christmas album, Something About Christmas Time, Robert Thomas does track number 5, one of his original songs, Small Town Christmas. This song is not really about a small town, but getting into the Christmas spirit, and all those soldiers on the Hallmark float have to agree with this song. With all the comfort for the holiday seasons that we all want when we get into that time of year every December. We saw a star from Glee doing a Christmas cover that originally performed by a girl. Now a Christian artist does a cover of a boy band Christmas song at number 8, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays by Torrin Wells, which is one of his 2 singles from this year. Now, I have not listened to the original version by NSYNC, so I'm judging this one on its own, and that wonderful feeling of his voice was so good, but there are only 3 ways you can get this song digitally. On iTunes, Apple Music, or Amazon Music. Not Spotify, though. After doing original carols, now they combine 2 classic carols as a medley at number 7, The Christmas Waltz and We Wish You a Merry Christmas by Macy singing Christmas Tree. Ending off the song roster, of course, the return of all of those Macy's employees coming together in this one float after only doing it virtually the previous year. I was so excited when this was back in person instead of virtual, and it is nice to hear them doing some regular carols instead of new ones, which I kinda did miss a bit, but these ones are fine. And I don't think no one has ever sang We Wish You a Merry Christmas in this parade, at least going by 1990 to now. Not sure about the 80s because I didn't pay attention, and marching bands don't count, of course. Let me know if I'm wrong on this. And with the combination of the Christmas Waltz, that was a nice touch, that I liked it better than Kristen Chenoweth's rendition. Oh wait, she's not here, I wonder why. Regardless, a great conclusion to this roster. Starting up the celeb roster in the parade at number 6, Freedom Was a Highway by Jimmie Allen. Although he has had an album before, his second album, Betty James Gold Edition, is the album where he got collabs with many other artists, including Mickey Guyton, Nelly, Torrin Wells, and in this case his collab song with Brad Paisley with his big single hit, track number 4, Freedom Was a Highway. It's amazing how this song broke him into the main stage, because I did listen to this a lot when I first heard it, and it's a great choice to start the parade, if it wasn't for the fact that it is, of course, a collab song. Since, of course, Brad Paisley couldn't be there with him, his part of the song was missing for the parade. Only time will tell if that big country star will participate in this parade in the future. We'll have to see. This year was the start of a trend of one big song from the 1980s to be in the parade, as you will see in the next 2 years. At number 5, I Want to Know What Love Is by Foreigner with the Young People's Chorus of New York City. This legendary rock band makes their Macy's Parade debut, joining with the Young People's Chorus of New York City by performing their 1984 hit and their most popular song from their 5th album, Agent Provocateur, track number 3, I Want to Know What Love Is. I wasn't big on it on the radio before this parade. Now I can understand why this song is a classic. I really do sing along to it, mainly the In My Life sets of the song, in a high-pitched voice like, to change this lovely life. Okay, maybe not for a video like this, because I've been talking throughout the entirety of this video, so I don't think, because that would not be good for my throat, so. The only thing about the parade was that it was very short. I can understand them recording this, because this song is almost 40 years old, and the Young People's Chorus of New York City's part was kind of useless, honestly. Wait, haven't I said that before in a previous parade? Henry VIII is one of those monarchs that has been poked in the realms of pop culture. This musical took all 6 of his wives, mixed with several current female singers, living to be precise, and put them at number 4, Ex-Wives and 6 by the cast of Broadway's 6. Originally starting in Edinburgh, then in the West End, then after being delayed due to the pandemic, the musical 6 finally opened in September on Broadway, as these 6 ladies that were divorced, beheaded, died, divorced, beheaded, and survived from that ruler tell you their story in song with 2 numbers, the opening Ex-Wives, and the ending before the encore, the title song, 6. Now, there is a cast recording album of the musical back in the UK, but there is a Broadway one specifically of their live performance on opening night. So it is rare that a Broadway cast recording album is from a live performance. Finally, we've got an actual concert-style Broadway musical that is not based on a singer, and very creative on doing it in the lives of Henry VIII. I was surprised on how fast-paced the songs are, especially Ex-Wives, although I might state that I think the UK cast recording album is better, honestly, because of the British accents sound better than the Broadway ones, because they are in America, so they had to be in an American accent. Although I do gotta ask, although very colorful, why are some of the costumes a little bit too sexy by all means? And I think they should have done Ex-Wives alone instead with 6 as an additional, because the first song was more bigger for the parade's broadcast, if you saw. This next performance warmed a lot of hearts, not for children, but for adults around their 20s like myself. At number 3, You Can't Spell Blue Without You from Blues Clues and You by Steve Burns, Donovan Patton, and Josh Dela Cruz. This year marked the 25th anniversary of Blues Clues, and to celebrate there were 2 things the people behind the show did. One was a special message from the first host, Steve Burns, which was actually an idea from him, as his Steve character addressing to those who grew up watching him about his sudden departure to college without any explanation, and tells us that he has never forgotten us. That went viral, of course. And the second was a song for all the fans called You Can't Spell Blue Without You. That song not just featured Steve, but also Donovan Patton as Joe, and current host of the reboot, Josh Dela Cruz, all here to say thank you to their fans, both young and old. When I heard this song, this brought back so many memories of me watching Blues Clues with Steve and a few times with Joe, especially a VHS I had when I was a kid that was recorded back in 1998 during a Blues Clues Big Tuesdays marathon. Yep, 2 years before I was born. Although I don't think it's around anymore in my house, I do also remember the commercials during that marathon, which somebody uploaded that on YouTube, by the way. The only major downgrade about this song is that you can't get this on digitally, unfortunately, which sucks, because this would have been a great single release. Doesn't this guitar sound so good? If you get that lyric, that would be a number 2, A-OK by Tai Verdes. Well known on TikTok, Tyler Colin released his first album, TV, and what would be a single hit as his final track, number 13, labeled it explicit, A-OK would be a big hit. Although there is a clean version of this song that is available, and what you did hear in the parade. Oh my gosh, this song's a lot of fun to listen to and sing along to. I mean, everything about this song is just so catchy, and the lyrics are well done. Now, I know there is a collab version of this with 24K Golden, but that's a single version that's not attached with the album, although that version is great as well. The question I have is, was Tai singing it live or not? Because that is re-recording, and I've heard some breathing, but like some of the others I mentioned, without the echo, I can't tell. But there is one performance that I can tell you it was live. Well, at least with one of the songs. My number 1 pick goes to I Don't Need Anything But You and Tomorrow by the cast of NBC's Annie Live. If you thought the 2014 movie was bad, maybe you need a better adaptation of Annie. Why not this year's live musical from NBC, with Harry Connick Jr. for his first parade performance, as he's only been interviewed by Al Roker a couple times in the past parades, mainly in the 2000s. now in a totally different look as Oliver Warbox, and making her debut, Selena Smith, as the titular character, do a preview performance of the event as the opening number for this year's parade and song roster, as we get 2 numbers, I Don't Need Anything But You, a duet with Selena and Harry, and Selena's solo, Tomorrow. When I do these rankings, the first draft I go by parade order, and now in the second and final draft is during the writing process, when sometimes I might have to change a bit in the business section I have them in. I gotta say, not even the first draft, no one couldn't top off Annie Warbox here. This is because they choose 2 great songs for this telecast that haven't been performed yet in this parade. Although the numbers are reversed here for the parade, I do like it this way, because starting simple with a big star joining for a duet, and then having the lead star herself take center at Herald Square with her solo. What makes this the #1 spot, not because of them doing a medley done right, but because Selena and Harry sang I Don't Need Anything But You live. This is evident through the echoing, but Tomorrow is not, unfortunately, and that is the cast recording. Minus that little flaw, these 2 are the best songs from the 2021 Macy's Parade. Thank you guys for watching. If you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button and hit the like button. We're done with these pandemic policies, so everything seems back to normal, right? Except for one person that is sadly missing. Without him involved, I don't know how 2022 would be the same without him. But I'm only looking at the songs though, not Al Roker, unfortunately.